Good afternoon. My name is Brian Makris. I'm with Home Choice Lending, and today our podcast on Grit Matters, we have a special guest, and it's Julie Chrissis. Now, I've known Julie for a really long time, so first of all, thanks for coming out today.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, it's like, I don't know, almost 70 out, so I wouldn't even want to be in here. This is like a dungeon in here right now. So when I went to go greet you walking in, I was like, what a gorgeous day today. And this is, what, February 23rd-ish, give or take? Mm-hmm. So gorgeous. So thanks for coming in. I want to talk a little bit about you. So first of all, you own this company. It's called Chrissis Company Interiors.
Yep.
Okay, and you're an interior designer, and you've been doing this for how long? Tell me a little bit about you and who you are.
Let's see. So I am an interior designer. I'm also a home stager. So I help people get their homes ready for sale, typically.
Okay.
I've been in business for 17 years. This is my 17th year in business.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, which feels weird to say.
Years.
Yeah, 17 years of it being my own company. So that feels weird to say.
Yeah. Self-employed for 17 years is quite an accomplishment, even in these downturns.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you love what you do.
I do love what I do. I get this, the creative aspect of getting to transform homes, but really the joy comes in the results, not only because the house is transformed, but what that means for the sellers that we're working for. It typically means less time on market, which even in a seller's market can mean they may never even hit the open house. It also means real return on their investment, which oftentimes means huge over-ask offers.
Yeah, so when you go out and you look at a house, you're typically working with real estate agents. Are they the ones, or are you also working with just homeowners that are saying, hey, I saw you, because I know you were featured in, was it Boston Living or a magazine a little while ago?
Yeah, we've been in a bunch of publications.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, heck, I haven't been in anything.
That's not true. Were you 1% of lenders in a magazine?
Yeah,
multiple times?
Yes, multiple times. Fair enough. All right. So when you go out and you look at a house, I want to just talk about 17 years ago and today. If you look at your before and after 17 years ago, has your craft gotten better and sharper? Mm-hmm. And then has the times changed with what you're doing with a home? Things are different today. Yeah. So someone who's lived in a house for 17 years and they want to put it in today's market and basically appease the buyers that are out there, things have changed, right?
Yeah.
Or are they the same?
No, things have changed dramatically. So 17 years ago when I started, I was one of two stagers in Boston. It wasn't even a thing. People didn't even know what it was. There was no HGTV. It was big out on the West Coast, so there was a lot of winging it. And what the real expectation was to make everything as bland as humanly possible. The idea was if it was bland, that people could see beyond what we were doing and look at the house. That has evolved over the last 17 years, and now it's really... And I'm not sure why, but I feel like it's almost more, I'm going to call it spoon feeding to the buyers. And now when I look at a house, we go in, we will paint, we'll change out light fixtures. The staging is more creative. It's not dumbed down. It's really has this designer feel. And part of that might be who we work with. Mm-hmm. We typically are in the luxury market, and that's typically a seller and buyer who has worked with the designer, so it's a more collected look. Less home goods, less matchy, more thoughtfully decorated, and that's what's really evolved. And we're starting to see, as an industry, it change even more. At least me, I follow the trends coming from New York, from Manhattan, and they're really creating special looks for each house.
So when you talk about painting, is it do you have somebody on your team? Are you in there doing it? Are you standing on a ladder on one hand? Or do you have contacts that say, hey, listen, this is my team and I know all these people? How does that work?
Yeah, so typically we have contractors that we work with, which especially right now is extremely advantageous because, as most people know,
you can't get anyone.
You can't get anyone.
Yeah, so you have that right in your Rolodex speed dial, and you're like, Joey, Mikey, Tommy, I need somebody over their stat, and they respond to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a huge advantage.
Huge advantage. And they do quality work.
And yeah, definitely. That sounds like it. So this was a before and after that we were speaking about off camera, and I mean, I can see the difference. It's night and day. The floors looks like they maybe outside of dusting them, they look the same.
Yep.
But you changed the frame around the windows, and you just really brightened everything up.
Yep. So this is a single-family home in Carlisle, Mass., which is a little outside the area we typically work in. But it's a luxury home. It was just under 12,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, which
massive.
is yeah, it was massive.
It's a lot of paint.
It was a lot of paint. It was a lot of paint. And actually, what's funny is I typically spec out these bright whites, and the painter was not happy with me because we were painting over. You can see like this was a green.
Sure.
So this was a primary bedroom suite. There's a seating area on the other side. But really, all we're talking about here is removing, kind of their personal items, creating spaces that buyers can see how they can better use the space, and then paint.
Yeah.
Those were the only upgrades that we did in the space, and it's night and day.
I love it. I want that bedroom. I want the couch. I want the little chairs.
Right?
I love it all. I think it's beautiful.
There's a fireplace right there, and I mean that's what's difficult to see in this photo, but that's what buyers want, right?
Yeah.
To have this bedroom and they can sit and read by the fireplace, or at least think that they may do that.
Sure.
Probably ends up being, where they throw their clothes, but
Right. It's be a pile on the ceiling. And they're like, we're selling? All right. Well, let's call Julie.
yeah.
So you also have a lot of your own personal goods that you bring to these houses.
Yeah.
You have artwork, you have
Yeah.
couches and specialty chairs and accent chairs and things of that nature. Is that some of the stuff that you apply to these houses when you're going out there?
Yeah.
How does that work? And what is that? I mean, there's obviously a fee for that. There's a cost for that.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody who's got the big giant old pine, box for a bed or mattress, and sometimes no bed at all, are you staging all of that when you go in and stage a home? You're like, all right, this needs to look like a bedroom. This needs to look like an office.
Yes. Yeah. So first we determine kind of a purpose for every space, and I really like to work with the agent to find out how they feel they want to market the home. And what I mean by that is, for example, I feel like we've been talking ad nauseum through this pandemic about work from home, and so we've been layering in desks everywhere.
Absolutely. Here comes another desk.
Yeah, that's literally
Need an office.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we'll just stick a desk in this living room. But in terms of, really having their finger on the pulse of the market in each area, I really rely on the agents. I mean, I know, in terms of trends, what's going to sell, but they know, okay, buyers in this market are looking for this type of room, this type of room. So once we've narrowed down the types of rooms, then I look at who kind of the demographic is that we're going to be targeting towards. Which in a situation like this, where it's a large home, typically that's a family. I mean, you're not really getting a downsizer.
And 12,000 square feet, you'll find plenty of space to put an office.
Right.
Okay? If
Yeah.
if it's a 1,300 square foot condo
Right.
in a high rise downtown
Yeah.
Boston, which I know you've worked because I've seen the photos.
Yeah.
That could be a little more challenging.
Yeah, totally.
You can't create more space.
No. You really just have to kind of shoehorn it in where you can get it. So, to your question, so I rent all my furniture from a company out of New Jersey. It's family run. And so all the furniture you actually see in this photo was rented. And then what I do is I supplement that with really cool pieces. So I shop vintage shops, I shop Facebook Marketplace, I shop estate sales.
Wow.
Yeah, and I look for really cool.
So like that little plant on, or whatever that is, the little thing on the right there? Or
the purple stem thing?
Yeah.
That's mine.
That's yours.
Yeah. So
Okay.
all the accessories, like this rug is mine, the bedding is mine. So I provide all the accessories, and then, like I said, some
The big stuff.
Yeah, the big stuff I typically rent, and there's a million reasons why we do that. Number one, these guys, they know what the trends are. They shop. Then their
Beautiful
team is
stuff.
yeah. This company also services Manhattan. They service DC. They service Miami. So they get it.
They're in it.
Yeah, they get the luxury market. And then their team is actually specialized in putting their furniture together and moving their furniture pieces. So it really streamlines the whole process.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then I supplement, like I said, like I'll find really cool mid-century modern chairs, or something like a beautiful rug, some art. I'm always on the lookout. And then I just hired somebody who's awesome with DIY. She does some furniture, kind of refurnishing. So we just bought a table off of Facebook Marketplace that had really good lines, but was really like this table from the 80s, and she's painting it black, and now it looks super on trend. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's all about creating, with our sellers that we're working with, it's got to be this designer look. It's a luxury home.
And every space is different, so that means it's going to be different furniture and different colors.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about this one here, because this looks night and day.
I
love the artwork. I love the chairs. I love the table. I love the couch. And the carpet looks familiar. Was that in the last one too? Or
no?
No.
But it is a similar look. So this one. And I'm going to give you some numbers, but they may be a smidge off because I'm not an agent. Like I don't really try to get like nitty gritty with the numbers. But this is a home in Somerville. It's a single family, fully intact brownstone, which is kind of a unicorn. And this couple with their small child bought it prior to the pandemic. And then with everything that happened, they were unable to spruce it up the way that they thought. And I don't know exactly why that is. But what they were left with and the situation that they found themselves in was, in this picture on the left, you can see wallpaper peeling off the walls. There was exposed wiring. There were plumbing issues. There were literally holes in the floor and in the ceiling. And, this was their dream to buy this and fix this up and live in it. And then the pandemic forced them to rethink that because they couldn't get the materials. And so they decided to sell. So what we did was we went in with a contractor. And we went room to room, and this was a lot of rooms, and identified what needed to get fixed, which was pretty much every inch of every wall, ceiling, floor. You can actually see in the right, we probably can't see it, but this is a pull chain light. That's how.
I see it. I see it. I'm sitting there, which is, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And the light fixture is really cool. I'm guessing that wasn't there.
That we actually ordered. It's, again, even finding a pull chain light that's cool is a unicorn. So we went in and really just made this over, showed it so much love, brought that potential to the forefront, and then we staged it. And these are the numbers that I think are right, but it's my understanding that the agent that they worked with was not actually able to sell the house as it was. Shocking. Because it was borderline condemned.
Yeah.
It was not livable. I don't know if it would have been able to sell like that. My understanding is no. So we went in, and originally I think he's told them that, as is, he could potentially list it for $700, $750, something like that, as is, whatever. He listed it for something in the nines, and it closed for like 1.1.
Wow.
And they invested $90,000 between the staging and the painting. And a lot of it was what we like to call deferred maintenance.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's just bringing it up to code and all that stuff. And I don't work specifically with that kind of stuff. That's a little kind of outside my purview. But, specking out the paint colors and all that.
That's a huge payday for them.
That's a huge payday.
And I bet you they didn't want to leave when it was all done.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they were really grateful. And that right there, as much as I love the decorating, I can take on design projects all day long. The emails that I get from sellers when they get that kind of a payday, that is life-changing amounts of money.
Yeah.
And that I can't say that I can guarantee that for everybody, but typically that's what you're seeing is these huge returns, when you make a decent investment in making your house looking great, for the market. But knowing that I helped them, I was part of a team. Obviously this isn't just me. I was part of a team that had this kind of success for them. That feels really good.
I love it. Tell me about this here. This is really bright. It's airy.
Yep.
I see that they had the lights on the wall before, and you just kind of changed them out ever so slightly.
Yep.
So what happened here, and where was this located?
So this was a beautiful single-family home in Cambridge, and a couple had raised their kids there, and then it was time to go. But again, they hadn't made changes since they had raised their children. As you can see on the left, they were using this room for storage. Mm-hmm. The light fixtures had, just seen their day.
Yeah.
And we went in, and really with this house, all we did was paint, swap out light fixtures, and stage it. And the difference was...
It's night and day.
Night and day. And these people actually had really, really old wiring. And it's funny because I was there when the electrician was there. We were putting in a new entry light. And what he actually said was it was a good thing that we did that because he was surprised the house hadn't burned down because of the electricity situation.
Yeah, we get some old homes in Cambridge and the Boston area. They've been around forever. So let's talk a little bit about the areas that you go to. So that's at Cambridge, and I know you're
Yep.
in Boston a lot, but you're also up in the Lakes region, and you've done a bunch up there in the Lakes
Yeah.
region as well.
Yep. So we service, I call it Metro Boston. So Boston, Weston, Wellesley, Newton, Cambridge. I love Cambridge.
Cambridge is awesome.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I love Cambridge. Somerville, all of that. And then I will take on special projects. So we do the Lakes region, but I would say that we do luxury Lakes region.
Gotcha. And I know you're up there anyway.
Yes.
So that one's convenient.
It's very convenient.
You're
Yeah.
sitting on the lake.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got to go to Boston. All right, this one's in Guilford. Great.
Exactly.
I'm in.
Exactly.
The Governor's Island, no problem at all.
Right. Yeah, and then we'll do other projects, kind of as needed. I've done projects in Vermont. I've done projects in Naples, Florida. I've done the Cape.
So specialty type things where or worked with customers and they're like, or they found you in one of your publications that are out there and say, Julie, we need you here at our house.
Martha's Vineyard. We've kind of, we'll take on specialty projects here and there as needed. Yeah.
I love it. So if somebody just wants to design their own little thing at their house and they need help, can you go in and help guide them? It doesn't need to be tied to a real estate agent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we work with sellers, on the home staging aspect. We also do, and this is fairly new for us, we do Airbnb staging.
Nice.
We also do short-term apartment rentals. We've done that for a lot of the ball players in Boston, which is great. They just moved. They have nowhere to live. They literally have nothing.
Right. And they're like, here's a pillow. This is where you put your toothbrush and you're ready to go.
Yeah. So we've done apartment setups for ball players. And then we do interior design. I am not an interior designer in the sense that we don't go in and make architectural changes. I don't do specific lighting plans, like you need someone who's licensed to do those things. I would call myself more of an interior decorator, kind of the lipstick on everything.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow. All right. I love it. Well, so if anybody out there is thinking about doing something to their home, consult with an expert. Call Julie. I've known her for 10, 12,
I was thinking about this morning.
Years.
I think it's 14 years. It's 14-ish.
Yeah,
we'll
14-ish
Yeah.
gives us another 5 on either side. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
We'll
My
have
pleasure.
you back again. Keep
Thanks.
the before and afters. I think that's what people really want to see is the differences. So just keep them. And I follow you on Instagram, so you guys can follow her out there on Instagram.
Thanks.
You can see the things that she does. But it's terrific. So
thanks.
Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank
in
you.
today.
And before we adjourn, I just want to also say thank you to you because over those 14 years, I have sent you friends and sellers and family members.
Yes.
And you have always taken care of everybody so beautifully and so kindly.
That.
So I appreciate being able to trust, that you're taking care of people that we
buying
send you.
houses, selling houses are a big deal. So.
It is a big deal. It's really personal. So it's nice to have someone you can trust
I really
in that
appreciate
process.
that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.